Welcome to the Ronday Show. What's up, everyone? This is the Ronday Show, and I am Ronday. If you haven't gotten that by now, yes, I am Ronday, and this is episode number 3. Numbers are hard. Anyway, so in this episode, we're going to talk about the question of the day from the previous episode. I have a really cool answer for you. Plus, I'm going to leave a comment as well, and I must say, I agree. In addition to that, we're also going to talk about some really cool articles that I found. I love a good article, so we're going to talk about them. And we're also going to talk about some movies. I love movies. Also, we're going to end the video with another question of the day. So, without further ado, let's get started. At the end of the last episode, I asked the question, what subjects should they teach in school that they currently don't? One subscriber wrote that they should talk about banking in school. I agree. Let me tell you, I've had many jobs in the financial sector, and the difference between how a person who understands money, credit, banking, investments, those decisions vastly differ amongst those who have no idea how finance works at all. I think that's one of the fundamental things people should understand is banking. When people don't understand finances, they get themselves into debt, and debt is crippling because you won't have the best quality life for yourself, for your children, for your spouse, and you can't help your family prosper because you're being weighed down by the anchor that is debt. And I think people need to understand that, and having a bank account, it's not the end all and the be all of the financial world or the financial universe, but it gives a foundation of what people should understand. And having a bank account is the simplest way of showing responsibility from a financial standpoint. Bank accounts teach you about overdraft fees and interest, saving money in a savings account and or money market account. Both are great accounts. Money markets garner a higher interest rate, so I think they're always a better option. But at least having a bank account, a checking account, it talks about saving bonds. There are some other accounts you get at the bank as well, though I don't believe banks should be in the investing industry because you put money in banks to save, not to invest. So I think they should stay in their own lane, but they're trying to get as many pennies out of it as possible. I'm rambling. The point is, all of this should be taught in school, and I think that this is the reason why so many people stay impoverished, because they don't understand how money works. They just know as they go to work, they earn money, they get the check, they spend money, money in, money out, but there's no money being saved. In the near future, maybe I should do some videos on budgeting and savings and investing, and I think that'd be really cool. But to answer your question, yes, people should definitely, most definitely teach banking in schools. So the other day, I'm on the internet perusing, looking for cool articles to talk about. And I found this article written by The Hollywood Reporter on Jordan Peele. Now, the first time I saw Jordan Peele was on Mad TV. I loved him there. He was hilarious, and especially with Key, really great chemistry. From there, he moved on to his own show, Key and Peele? Jordan, Key and Peele? Key and Peele? Peele and Key? Doesn't matter. But he got his own show, and then from there, he went into writing, directing. He moved from the small screen into the big screen, and now he's directing movies. His first movie, Get Out, smash it. Everybody loved it. Definitely put him on the map, and he garnered so much respect just by doing that. His recent endeavor was Us, which I saw, and I talked about on the last video, so definitely check that out. I first noticed him on Mad TV. He was really funny there, and I really enjoyed him. From there, he moved to Key and Peele, or Peele and Key. I think it was Key and Peele was the name of the show. So, or P and Peele. Either or, it doesn't matter. So he moved there, and great sketch comedy show, awesome. I really enjoyed that as well. In addition, he thought, why not get into more writing and directing? So that's what he did. He went from the small screen to the big screen, big screen. During the interview, he made a really gnarly comment that really took me aback, and I wanted to talk about it. During the interview, he said that he would not put a white dude in a leading role. So I was like, wow, Okay, that's very jarring. That's very jarring. Okay, now here's the thing. If the movie's about like, let's say a period piece, let's say the history of Africa or kings and queens of Africa or the slave trade or something like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. I get that. But the first thought I had was, could a white person say that? And I was like, I don't think so. I feel like if a white person said that, what's titter? No, Twitter would have gone ablaze. I feel like people would have gotten fired. The studio would have said, no, we decry his behavior. We would never stand for that. That's racist, whatever. So I wonder why he doesn't get the same type of response. And I think because it's a double standard. I think for so long, people of color have been excluded from something. So it's like payback almost, or reparations. So now that we're in a position to exclude someone, but I still think it's unfair. And I really think it's unfair because I look at the action. I think exclusionary behavior is wrong. Either way you look at it, irrespective of who is doing it, whether the person is white, brown, or black, the behavior is wrong and we shouldn't stand for that. However, the other side of that coin is that, well, because he's a person of color, he can say that because he knows how to, he knows that that's true and he knows that it's happened to him and now he gets to do it and but it's still a bad behavior. I don't want to give people of color a pass if I can't give that same pass to those who are not people of color, because the action is wrong either way you look at it. I know people may disagree, but it is a double standard, and I think any decision based on race is wrong. Unless, again, it's a period piece, and I'm like, oh, I'm making a movie about the history of Africa, but all my actors are Asian. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. So, I don't know. I just feel like bad behavior is bad behavior, and we shouldn't excuse it, and we'll never progress if we do the same things that others have done to us. And I say that as a person of color, we have to do better. If we exact the same type of actions as our oppressors, then essentially we're becoming our oppressors, which means we're becoming the same people that we despise. And two wrongs don't make a right. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you think? Leave your comments down below and I'll read them, and I definitely want to respond because I definitely want to get a different opinion on this. So let me know. Here's a cool article. On the show Lizzie McGuire, there was a Latina actress, Lalena Vergara Barras. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Sorry if I'm dicing up your name. I'm really bad with that. And so she was saying in the article that during the show, she was feeling pressured to act white or to be passable. If you're unfamiliar with what that term is, passable is a term that people of color use to make themselves less ethnic and to be more white. And I don't want to get in a conversation of what it means to be white and how to act white, because then we could talk about how to act black, how to act Asian, things like that. But the thing is, we have to realize that when you are a minority, more often than not, in professional atmosphere, especially in the higher echelon of certain groups, you're going to be surrounded by people that are the majority Caucasian, and so you feel this pressure to mitigate anything that's representative of your culture, because you know it's gonna draw a lot of attention, and so you just try to slide under the radar. And for those that are fair people of color but of fairer skin, it's less stress on them because you can't necessarily pick them out of the crowd. Where a person like me, you can't deny that I'm a person of African descent. So a person like me, you can clearly pick me out of the crowd. There go that chocolate brother right there. I see you looking all chocolate and stuff. I can't hide. But some people of color of fair complexion with less melanin, you can't pick them out of the crowd, and so it's easier for them to be passable. Or they could say like, oh, I'm mixed, or I'm half white, or something like that. And so when you diminish your ethnicity a bit, it makes you more passable. And so people do it for several reasons. And I can talk about this at nauseum, but it may be easier because now they don't get typecast, or they don't only get relegated to certain roles. If I was Asian, maybe I would only get, the nerd, or the guy who knows karate, or the really, smart a really smart guy of the whole school, or or some sort of stereotypical role. Or if I was an Italian, I would have to be loud, or I would have to have, wear the wife beaters. It's certain roles that people just put you in just because they know your ethnicity. And so by not acknowledging your ethnicity, it opens up other doors, other opportunities. So some people do it, and I don't blame them. I blame the system. I blame the fact that people feel like they have to do it. Just what it is. But she spoke in the article about how now she feels though that she kind of betrayed herself, and now she has to get to know her own heritage, and that is more common than you think. There's a lot of pressure to just be accepted, and people will do whatever it takes to be accepted for financial reasons or for personal reasons as well. So I'm glad that she had the courage to talk about that, because a lot of people go through that. A lot of people. So kudos to you. The next article is about Nippy Hustle. Now, I don't know much about Mr. Hustle's work, but I knew that he was a rapper. There was a shooting at his percussion. Black people. Black people. We have to do better. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Now, it was this lady who wore a MAGA hat to the post office, make America great again. All the Trump supporters are wearing them. So she wore this hat, and some lady really got in her face like, oh, the president is disgusting, he's this, he's that. And of course, what does she do? As soon as she gets the car, she goes on her social media and like taking photos of her MAGA hat, and I'm a Trump supporter, and people this and people that. And the sad part of this is people are using politics just to gain viewers or to gain some traction or to bring attention to themselves. And it's sad because I feel like in this social climate, or this political climate rather, there's a lot of people who suffer from mental health, and they are using politics like they use religion and still are, just to be a part of something that's greater than they are. And the fact that so many people are just coming up to them so angrily, it feeds into that insecurity, or feeds into that, oh, I must be doing the right thing, that mindset. And I hate that people are using politics to do that, because whatever message is trying to be conveyed now is being missed, because people are just glomming onto this whole political train that is Donald Trump, just to garner attention for themselves, when they're not really talking about the politics. So that's kind of sad. But then again, people do anything just for attention nowadays. So the last article I want to talk about is Walmart Wendy. As you know, there's been several Caucasians that have just called the police on minorities just because they're minorities and they're white. Police have always had a tumultuous relationship with people of color. Police in the past have beaten up people of color just because they're there. Firefighters have turned water hoses back on people, on people of color just because they're there. And again, we're talking about way back, but evidence of that tumultuous relationship can still be seen today. And situations like this only helps to further bring a rift in between police officers and minorities. Police officers are citizens who have taken up the mantle, the responsibility, their remit is to protect citizens and enforce the law. But racists have been using police officers to exact their hatred. And I hate that, because now people of color are mistrustful and distrustful of the police officers. And now they don't trust them. The police officers think they're in danger. And now no one's getting the help that they need, and no one's healing. And I hate that people like Walmart Wendy are using the police to exact their racism. Here's what happened. So Walmart Wendy, let's say, I'm just gonna call it that. Walmart Wendy was in a parking space, and a electrical professional, I believe, was trying to park their van there because they needed to do work on the Walmart store. So she didn't want to move, and she got out of her car and called police. And the guy's at his truck. She's like behind the truck to the left, saying, some guy asked me to move. He looks illegal. I don't know. I feel like I'm in danger. She's around him, by the way, in his space, I feel like I'm in danger. Can you send someone? Something about ice reference. I was like, what? Insane. So I hate that Caucasians sometimes use the police to exact their racism. And it's interesting because people know what advantages they have in life. I know that she knew that I am a white woman, they are a person of color. Automatically, there's more believability when it comes to me than them. And only thing I have to say as a white woman is, I feel unsafe. I feel like I'm in danger. I feel threatened. They know they always have their card to fall on to get what they want out of a situation. And it's sad because now I feel like, oh gosh, I'm a white woman. I feel like I don't want her to say I put her in danger, or I'm intimidating her, or I threaten her, because I know automatically as a person of color, the thought is going to be, he's dangerous. And so this only further brings rifts between citizens and the people that are supposed to protect them. People of color don't need to be distrustful or mistrustful of police officers. Police officers don't need to be fearful of people of color. We need to come together. But people like this are just hurting that progress. So Walmart Wendy, I really hope that you change. I really hope that you see yourself and someone really sits you down and realize what you're doing, because that's not cool, baby. That's not cool, Walmart Wendy. How come my people here with people like you out here trying to pull us apart? Not cool, Wendy. Not cool. So I saw this article the other day about this company that makes condoms. They're now designing a box in which it can only be opened by like two sets of hands or something like that. So the idea is that, oh, two people must open the box, so they're both giving consent. The idea is that if two people open it, both parties must be giving consent to have sex. But condoms aren't about consent to have sex. They're about safe sex, which is important, don't get me wrong. But it seems like this company is trying to ride the wave of consent that everyone is talking about. When everyone's talking about consent, they're talking about people being raped, because essentially when you don't give consent to have sex, someone is, performing an act of rape. So it's not about safe sex, it's about rape. And I feel like this condom company really missed the mark, because more often than not, companies try to ride whatever theme is going on in the social atmosphere at the moment. And right now is the whole consent rape, narrative. So I feel like this company is just trying to cash in on that same theme. And it's kind of sad, because if condoms are about safe sex, that's fine, but don't make light of the rape theme or narrative because you want to sell products. It's just weird, and it seems like they lack integrity, so it makes me really weary and uncomfortable. It's kind of like what Gillette did with that whole toxic masculinity thing. They had that video where like fathers talking to their sons like, you have to listen to women, respect a woman's decision to say no. Gillette, no one looks to you for social commentary. You make razors. That's what you do. That's all you do. Stop trying to cash in on whatever's going on in the media. It's like, oh, hey, this is popular. We can cash in on this too. Let's jump on the bandwagon, because you're bringing unnecessary attention to yourself. And that's weird. Companies should stay in your lane. You sell razors. You don't teach me how to be a man or how not to have toxic masculinity. Next, another article I want to talk about is from Loughlin. Now, Loughlin, she was the mother on Full House and Fuller House. She was the one that's involved in the scandal where allegedly she paid one of her daughter's athletic instructors, whatever, to write a glowing recommendation stating that her daughter was like an amazing athlete and one of the best rowers ever, and she deserves to be in the Olympics. Maybe not that, maybe I'm just adding stuff on, and she's an awesome person, and all this stuff. So she got caught up in this college scandal, but this has been going on since the beginning of the time. And so, one, why are we shocked? Two, most people would do the same thing. The average person would pony up $500 if it means their child could get into a better school, or if their professor or instructor could write them a glowing recommendation. So why are we surprised that she would spend, I don't know how much she spent, let's say $50,000. What? Probably not, probably more, probably like $200,000. So why are we surprised? Especially if we do the same thing. Lori, sad that it happened to you, but I'm glad that it came to light, because there's corruption everywhere, and people just do corrupt things. They may have good intentions. She just wanted to help her daughter, but still, it was a bad thing, because by her doing that, her daughter took up a spot for someone that may have been more deserving of that spot. That's all I'm saying. So I don't want to judge her, because I understand parents do questionable things for the betterment of their child, but I know that out of the love for our daughter, she sacrificed her own integrity, and she may have to pay for it, but most parents would do the same thing. So if you want to judge her for the crime, that's cool, but I don't want to judge her because, you know, I think she's a bad person, because I don't think she's a bad person. I mean, there are people that are committing crimes, like hurting people, you know, endangering people's lives. This is not one of them. I could say that it's a victimless crime because no one's lying in the hospital, but still, someone was denied an opportunity that could have made such a difference in their life, because maybe they were the first person who went to college, or maybe they needed to get out of impoverished communities, or maybe whatever. But Lori, keep your head up, and if you need advice, go talk to Martha. She survived. You could too. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about movies. I'm so excited because I love going to the movies. The first movie I want to talk about is Pet Sematary. So Pet Sematary was a really cool movie. It was a remake, I believe, of a Stephen King book. The movie was about, yes, Pet Sematary. Well, apparently, whatever you buried in the cemetery will come back to life, but different, but of course. And I really enjoyed this film. This is one of the few films that I would be like, okay, I'll go see it again, you know, because it was just a good movie. What I love most about it is that it was like an hour and a half long. That's it. I find that you'll watch a lot of movies and they're just like drawn out because they just want to be. But no, some movies need to be short. It wasn't like a lot of content that was needed, or there wasn't a lot of content there wasn't enough content that would justify this being a 2-hour length movie. It was like a good 90 minutes. I was in there and I was out of there. I had my popcorn. By the time I finished my Raisinets, the movie was over. It was a good movie. Really suspenseful. It wasn't like overly scary, but it was very interesting. So good acting. Good job, good job. The next movie I want to talk about is Shazam! Shazam is a good movie, a good hero action movie. The origin story was pretty cool. It's about a boy, Billy, that he inherited the magical powers of this wizard called Shazam. And when he says the magical words, lightning comes down, he transforms to Shazam, this really buff guy. And it was a really fun movie. I knew it was gonna be fun. I'm glad they didn't take it too seriously, because he's a kid essentially. He looks like an adult once he transforms to the superhero, but it's a really cool movie, really fun. The action was amazing. It had a really nice pace. Again, not too long of a movie. Perfect. But I will say that suit he was wearing that made him look super buff. Don't get me wrong, I've seen pictures and I know that he definitely, you know, had some gains, but that suit was, whew, that thing had him looking inflated. It was crazy. But the last movie I want to talk about is Hellboy. Now this is the third Hellboy movie that was made, I believe, and it was a remake. It wasn't a third installment. It was just a remake of the whole genre. It didn't do well at the box office, but I enjoyed it. I knew going in it wasn't going to be great acting or even a great story. Speaking of, the story got kind of convoluted at the end. I wasn't really sure what they were talking about, but I liked it. It was a good action flick. It's one of the movies you want to sit down on a Saturday afternoon and just kind of zone out. You know that it's not going to be like award-winning, brava. No, it's not an award-winning performances. It's just a whole bunch of guns and monsters and magic and fire, and that's what you need. So with those expectations, I thought it was a good movie. Would I see it again? Yeah. Invite me over. I'll watch it at your house. Okay? Cool. Now we're going to end this episode with the question of the day. The last week's question was about education. This week's question is about infidelity. Recently, I was having dinner with a friend, and the topic of engaging in a relationship, whether romantic or sexual, with someone who is married, and the question was, would I do it? And I have some staunch views on this, and I wanted to just ask you all what you thought. You can leave some comments down below, and I wanted to respond to you and see what you thought about it. But I definitely have some really good things on this one. And yeah, I can't wait to talk about this. So listen, I don't get too excited, but look, thanks for watching Ronday Show episode number three. I'll see y'all soon. Leave some comments down below. Definitely subscribe and stay sexy.